Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Lillian Coley, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. I'm happy to be here today to discuss with you some things I think we might need to talk about. And you can tell from my screen what we're going to be talking about right now. As some of you may know, there's been ongoing things going on with Tony Buzbee, as he is an advocate for someone who helps victims get justice in various cases. This is why I follow him, and this is why I support him. And we are today going to discuss some things about him winning against Diddy in New York. Mainly, we're going to talk about his credentials, if you will, that so many people want to keep talking about, which really don't make too much of a difference. But okay, they want to have something to talk about other than the victims, everybody. Nonetheless, that's something we're going to talk about. And we're also going to talk about John Doe. John Doe is somebody that was similar to the Jane Doe in Mr. Buzby orbit, if you will, which he was pursuing on behalf of his clients. You know about Jane Doe and kind of stuff that happened with that. You know about stuff that's happening now. Now we have the John Doe. So I want everybody to pay attention as we're going to look at one of my favorite podcasters, Ticket TV on YouTube, who's going to give us some information and background regarding Buzby and Diddy, and also this other piece of the formula, the John Doe, which relates to Diddy and Jay-Z. So we want you to just take notes, sit back and understand, listen, and see where your thoughts take you, because sometimes people don't always get the right information, but the right information is going to help you bring a revelation. So here we are, everybody. Let's tune in to what is being said on this regard.
Get right to the video. Look, man, Tony Buzby has been approved. He has been approved to back out of that case in New York and leave co-counsel on. So the Diddy case will remain. It will go on. The judge approved Tony Buzby's file to back out of that case, while Tony Buzby has submitted a letter stating that he is going to file correctly and for admittance in the Southern District of New York. Now, the other cases have been put on pause, but something happened. Something happened. This article you see came out of Houston 2 hours ago. And I don't know if this kind of told a story that we haven't been looking at or we overlooked. I don't know. We're going to find out because, ladies and gentlemen, this article says Diddy and Jay-Z. Why would the article say Diddy and Jay-Z when he withdrew from the lawyer and from the cases in New York? Unless Jay-Z allegedly could still be in one of those cases in New York as a doe that haven't been unveiled, which would explain, in my thought, maybe why Alex Spiro and Jay-Z have not full-blown went after sanctions for Tony Buzby, because that one case is still lingering out there. We never asked about where that case was at. Because remember, Jay-Z's lawyer came out and said that Tony Buzby was coming out with multiple, you understand what I'm saying? People, a boy and a girl. We saw from the girl what happened to the boy. But remember, with the girl, that wasn't a new filed case. That case had already been filed. What they did was they unveiled the doe in that case as Jay-Z with that girl. What happened to the other case? Why did this article say this? That he withdrew in the cases against Diddy and Jay-Z as a lawyer. We've only known that he's fighting cases against Diddy in New York right now. And then I asked the question, why did Jay-Z and his lawyer, why did they fold back on their motion for sanctions against Tony Buzby without prejudice, meaning that they can bring that back up? Big questions. Big questions. Big questions, man. That Houston article put this right there. That Houston article just came out 2 hours ago. You guys can look this up. It says Diddy and Jay-Z. Why would Jay-Z have anything to do with these cases in New York? That girl's case got dismissed with prejudice. Remember, Tony Buzbee has a lot more cases out there in New York that have not even been settled yet, as far as pro hac visa or whether he's going to withdraw. But Tony Buzbee did say in a letter today to the judge, to this one judge, that he's leaving it in the judge's hands. The judge, they approved Tony Buzbee stepping off that case and allowing co-counsel to continue with that case against Diddy. The one case against Diddy and Jay-Z was dismissed with prejudice against that girl. But why would this Houston article put against Diddy and Jay-Z? Jay-Z's case that we known about with the girl had been dismissed with prejudice. But nobody asked anything about the other case. Everybody's been quiet about that. What happened to that other case Tony Buzbee allegedly had, where Jay-Z's lawyer said they would send a demand letter for 2 people, right? Jay-Z's lawyer said they ain't settled with nobody. They ain't paid nobody. But we haven't seen Jay-Z's name pop up out of a Doe status or anything like that in any of those other cases yet. You know why? Maybe he's not in the case. We don't know. Or if he is, Tony Buzbee's not unleashing that name right now until all of this stuff gets sorted out with whether or not he can practice in New York, whether or not he's going to go pro hac visa, or whether or not he's going to let co-counsel take those cases over with. Why did this article in Houston say that he withdrew against Diddy and Jay-Z in New York when he only has current cases against Diddy and John Doe's or Jane Doe's in New York? Think about this. And Jules Dior. You said Tony Buzbee's an ambulance chaser. Okay, let's say that, right? Why did Jay-Z pull up for sanctions against this ambulance chaser? Why not nail his ass to the wall? Why not?
Asking
Jules Dior. Answer that question. I want you to answer that one question. Wouldn't you, if Tony Buzbee was an ambulance chaser coming after you, wouldn't you go after Tony Buzbee for sanctions, and you would not come off your motion for sanctions against Tony Buzbee? Something's going on. I don't know what it is. But that article says Diddy and Jay-Z. When Jay-Z, as we currently understand, does not have any litigation with Tony Buzbee in New York. And New York is the only place Tony Buzbee withdrew because he could not practice in the Southern District because he had not been licensed to. But Tony Buzbee said he's in the process of doing that. He wrote that in his letter today to the judge. Right? Yes, you're on to something. Many people think it's just Tony Buzbee, but it's not. It's Ava Law Firm, the Buzbee Law Firm, and the Curris Law Firm. Not Curtis, Curris, C-U-R-I-S. The Curris Law Firm, obviously. Now, let's pull this up right here for you guys, because I want to show y'all something. Right? See, Tony Buzbee was smart. Everybody thinks Tony Buzbee was stupid. No, he's not. Tony Buzbee's far from stupid. Tony Buzbee's very smart. You know why Tony Buzbee is very smart? I'm going to show everybody in the chat room why Tony Buzbee was very smart. And I'm going to show you guys right now why Tony Buzbee was very smart. Tony Buzbee been playing chess this whole time. What do you mean, Ticket? I'm going to show you on the screen. To the person in the comment section who said, oh, it's the Curtis Law Firm. No, it's not. It's not the Curtis Law Firm. Curtis Law Firm. It's the Curris Law Firm. As in this in New York. See, Tony Buzbee's co-counsel licensed to practice in New York. It's not the Curtis. It's the Curris. Curris Law, PLLC. They're based in New York. That is his co-counsel. So Tony Buzbee jumped on those cases, and he had a co-counsel based in New York on those cases. Because if you look at the paperwork says, as you can read, and I'll put it on your screen right now, you kind of got it right, Afrolicious, but not all the way right. It's important that you put the Curris law firm, because if you read that last line of that paperwork right there, where Tony Buzbee dropped off of that case as the lead counsel and allowed the Curris law firm to take over, look at the last line. Curris is C-U-R-I-S, not Curtis.
Some of the things that are happening in this case, basically, in a nutshell, what we're trying to show you is that John Doe case is still pending. And that's important for everybody to note. And John Doe's case is being done by Co-Counsel, which is this Curris law firm. But at the end of the day, remember, we're dealing with an attorney who deals with advocates, someone who fights for the lives of people. And I got to keep saying that because people get lost in what the function of the court and or an attorney is really all about. And that's to bring justice to the victim. So I just wanted you to hear this little tidbit on Ticket TV regarding Buzby pulling out and why, because he's got to get his credentials or whatever together. And it's a distraction, he says. And he wants to keep his focus on his clients and fighting for them instead of the noise behind it and around it, which means nothing, by the way. And more importantly, John Doe, 2 days ago, Monday, was mentioned in this lawsuit we put up on the screen, and also on John Doe and Diddy and Jay-Z regarding that particular case. And this case was shown that Curris law firm is the co-counsel and is carrying that case on. So some of the things that you've seen in the news and some of the things that have been happening may have been so aggressive because there was other people in the wings waiting to get on the docket, if you will, already on the docket, but get their case moved along so that they could litigate it. Nonetheless, here we are, everybody. We are here at this point for a reason, and it is what it is. And at the end of the day, we want to be informed because you never know if something like this was to happen to you or your family and people you love. And what would you do? Would you lay down and die and do nothing? Or would you stand up and fight? So we're bringing this to you for information purposes, for you to have information, to be aware of what's out there, educate yourself. Yeah, it could be entertainment, but it's not the kind of entertainment you want. So and of course, there's always, what do they say? The term that's used when people don't want everybody to think that they believe something. You know, everybody is proven innocent until guilty. At the end of the day, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But at the end of the day, we are fighting and walking with the advocates and people who say they have certain things that happen to them. And we want to see justice taken care of. We want to see it. And the reason why I fight so hard, because I was a victim too, and currently is, but not totally, because I'm a victor, but I had to deal with victim stuff in the courtroom, everybody. And other people I know went through similar things as well. So at the end of the day, we are for the advocates. We're trying to empower them, speak life to them, encourage them to not give up, to regardless of what somebody tries to do by bullying, so forth and so on, so that the truth may or may not come out. If the truth is the truth, let it come. But if it ain't there, it ain't there, right? So sometimes when you see people doing stuff, the way people move says it all. So at the end of the day, I wanted to come on and talk about what I needed to talk about so that we can be informed, educated, and empowered. This is Dr. Lillian Coley, and this is Keeping It Real with Dr. Willow. And I hope and pray that everything is going the way it's supposed to be in your life as we continue to fight the fight that we need to fight. Talk to you soon, everybody. God bless.